R. Prabha, Assistant Professor in the Department of ECE, SNS College of Technology. In this video, we will discuss about special antennas, that is the reconfigurable antenna. And a reconfigurable antenna is an antenna capable of modifying dynamically its frequency and radiation properties in a controlled and reversible manner. In order to provide a dynamical response, reconfigurable antennas integrate an inner mechanism such as RF switches, varactors, mechanical actuators, or tunable materials that enable the intentional redistribution of the RF currents over the antenna surface. And there are four types of reconfiguration. One is the frequency reconfiguration, second is the radiation pattern reconfiguration, third is polarization reconfiguration, fourth is compound reconfiguration. So in frequency reconfiguration, these frequency reconfigurable antennas can adjust dynamically their frequency of operation. And in radiation pattern reconfiguration, the radiation pattern reconfigurability is based on intentional modification of the spherical distribution of radiation pattern. Polarization reconfigurable antennas are capable of switching between different polarization modes. Compound reconfiguration is the capability of simultaneously tuning several antenna parameters, for instance frequency and radiation pattern. And the reconfigurable antenna technology consists of mechanically movable parts, reconfigurable arrays, RF switches consist of semiconductor and MEMS switches, tunable materials. And the first reconfigurable antennas had mechanically movable parts. Large reflector antennas moved feeds to steer the main beam or interchanged feed antennas to change frequency bands. It is also possible to place nulls in the antenna pattern by altering the reflector surface. And a reconfigurable array, a phased array built on a geodesic dome. The yellow regions in this diagram represents the regions of activated subarrays. And also reconfigurability is achieved with RF switches. It serves to open or closed current path on a reconfigurable antenna. A popular way to build a reconfigurable antenna is to connect various pieces of the antenna with RF switches. And opening and closing switches guides the currents in a desirable path that changes the antenna radiation properties as well as its impedance. RF switches may be mechanical or semiconductor. Some important characteristics of a switch are characteristic impedance, bandwidth, and insertion loss. So in characteristic impedance, the switch is non-reflective, and bandwidth, the switches act as low pass filters and others act as band pass filters. Insertion loss and isolation, the ratio between the switch output and input powers when the switch is on and off respectively. And semiconductor switch, field effect transistor can also used in reconfigurability, comes in several varieties. And a semiconductor switch is also widely used mechanical switch, and it is a pin diode. It has heavily doped P and N type regions instead of with ohmic contacts. So, and they are separated by a highly doped intrinsic region. Forward biasing a pin diode creates a very low resistance at high frequencies, while reverse biasing results as open circuit. And difference between the switch types, pin diodes are current controlled while the FETs are voltage controlled. Pin diodes have the ability to control large RF signal, while the power is much smaller levels. Pin diodes are less susceptible to electrostatic discharge, that is ESD damage. And MEMS switches are also useful. MEMS switches are nothing but tiny mechanical switches made on a substrate like silicon or quartz or glass. Unlike pin diode, the FET switches, MEMS switches is mechanical, and it is very advanced one. And also the reconfigurable antennas comes with tunable material, and with a change in the substrate characteristics by using materials such as liquid crystals or ferrites. The change in the material is achieved by a change in the relative electric permittivity or magnetic permeability. A liquid crystal is a nonlinear material whose dielectric constant may be changed under the different voltage levels. For ferrite material, a static applied electric magnetic field can change the relative material permittivity or permeability. Applications. There are a variety of applications of reconfigurable antennas like wireless communication applications with multiple bands, radiation patterns or polarizations, and cognitive radio applications are used in cognitive radio systems. Satellite communication application also it is used. MIMO systems and biomedical applications. The reconfigurable antennas are used in medical devices. Military and industrial applications are done by reconfigurable antennas, and wireless sensor networks field. The directional reconfigurable antennas can reduce transmission collisions, increasing communication distance and optimize consumption in wireless sensor networks. So now the assessment questions. What is a reconfigurable antenna? We know the antenna which adapt to the environment is called a reconfigurability. Types we know: frequency reconfigurable and phase reconfigurable, pattern reconfigurable, and composite reconfigurable. And the applications we have seen already, the variety of biomedical applications, wireless communication etc. are the applications of reconfigurable antennas. Thank you.